right. How's everyone doing out there? Welcome to Tea with Fran. Fran, how are you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you.
Awesome. Justin?
I'm okay. I'm good. Same thing.
All right, everyone. Well, hey, glad you could be here with us. Just want to start off, Fran. This past week, we got a bunch of great feedback on social media from former students, former friends that were commenting, sharing Tea with Fran, just talking about how much they enjoy it, how much they enjoyed you. And all of them are thrilled that this platform exists and that we're out here, putting your words into the world.
Thank you. Thank
As
you.
if we needed any more motivation. Now Justin and I know we got to keep working.
Yeah.
And that we will.
Great.
So we kind of planned out today's episode and we wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know that. I have no idea what the plan is. You're over there writing. I'm just saying, I'm like, what?
Do you remember the topic?
Topic was, hang on. It was, sense of community? Something like that?
Choice.
Oh, choice, community. Oh, man. Some of the choices affect the community. See, I'm good. We'll be good.
Fran, is this topic a good topic? Would you choose this topic to talk about?
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's your choice. All right. So let's start with this first question. And Fran, just kind of let us know what you're thinking. What's the nature of choice?
Well, it's like focusing a decision on something that's bigger than a little decision. Like, what kind of ice cream do you want when you're ordering your ice cream? It's not like that. It's something bigger. It's something that has real value. It could be like changing your job. It could be deciding you're going to marry the person that you were very serious about.
That's an important choice to make in life.
Yeah, but see, it's got to be, when I think of choice,
it's the weight of the choice.
It's the weight. It's a weight. But we make decisions every day without even thinking about it. You know, which way you're going to drive, which way you're going to do, what you're going to wear. That's not really a choice.
I think some people
That's a
need to
decision.
put a little more thought into what they're going to wear, though. I'm just saying it.
It should be a choice.
It should be their choice. But some people is like, you look at yourself before you leave the house. Left the house.
Okay. But I think we're so lucky in our country because we have so many freedoms.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It's so easy for us to talk about because we have the freedom of choice. Now, not in all things, because whenever you are living in a community or in a state or wherever there are a lot of other people, there have to be some rules. Okay.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. There have to be
Without order, there is chaos.
Right. How fast you're going to drive, whether you're going to stop at the stop street. There are just some rules that you have to have. So you do lose some freedom of choice there. But what I love is that for most of the things in our life, you can have free choices within your own. I always call it like the circle, your Camelot, your circle. You get to choose. You get to think about it. You get to make the decision. Now, there are people who forget that they always have a choice.
Good point.
They think that their life is so complex that they can't see any way out, but they're not realizing that there is always a choice.
Well, wouldn't that be also their fear of change too? Because some of those choices, the weight of it is your life is going to change drastically. Like you're totally going to have to live a different way, or you're making an essential step in your life that you have to. Whether it's, I don't even want. There's so many examples.
Well, whenever we needed to make choices, and we lived in 9 states, we used to take a piece of yellow notebook paper, the long one, draw a line down the middle, and on the left were all the negatives, and on the right were all the positives about doing this very thing. And we would each have our own sheet of paper, and so we would think about the value of it and what it would mean, the ripple effect of it, because we had 3 sons that we always had to consider.
That's a great exercise. I've never heard of in work and business, everyone does that. But as far as relationship, I don't think I've let's write out the pros and cons and lay it out there. And obviously I like not communicating, we're not sharing what they are until it's
almost
like you're playing categories. You have a time limit, right? When that time's up, you have to share.
And we always did this. And it was always helpful to us because we were making that kind of serious decision, which we call choice.
And I think that kind of, having the two notepads and not talking, you can mention how, yes, we have freedom of choice, but I don't think we always realize how easily we're influenced by other people.
Peer pressure, dude.
Well, of course, peer pressure, that could be a whole thing. But when you're talking it out with someone, a significant other, a friend, coworker, and you're trying to make a decision as they're saying their part and you're thinking yours, like that's how you get influenced. And sometimes you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting how you can prevent that influence by not communicating. And
because then that leads on to confrontation, right? If something that like the choices don't line up, what's next? Confrontation.
That's right.
And you didn't even choose to think about that until I spoke about what I spoke about.
You're blowing my goddamn mind. Wow. Wild stuff. All good.
I happened to, I spent a couple of minutes looking up the word choice, and I thought it was interesting because it didn't even appear in language until 1250 AD.
All right. So not that long ago.
No.
That's 800 years seems like a long time. I'm sorry. 800 years. I'm happy we discovered it then and not in like 1990.
Do you know how long people have been, communicating for it? So what else did you find anything else in that research or just that?
Nothing that I didn't already know.
Okay.
The opportunity of choosing is choice. And we are very fortunate. And of course, there are things in the news now about choice. You can look at it differently, like a political issue. So there are ways of looking at that.
Yeah. Weaponizing choice.
Oh,
or weaponizing the word of it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I was going to ask, the next question I had here was just like the importance of choice, but I think that kind of just gets wrapped up automatically when discussing the nature.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, do you think there's a difference between the word choice and the word and decision? Don't those?
Well, you would think that it's exactly the same, but decisions, those are the lighter ones, like we were talking about. Okay, what you're going to put on this morning? We're looking at it's a hot day, so what are you going to wear? What are you going to have for lunch? Which way are you going to go to avoid traffic? Those are all little decisions. It's when you have bigger things that are weighted with real value into your life that you use the word choice.
Okay. See, I've always used decision as, in maybe probably a heavier standpoint, because it's like you do have to make decision, but at the same time, you do have to make a choice. So I think what choice has more, it goes back to the weight. It's a heavier word.
Heavier word, a heavier weight.
I'm going to say choice.
Yeah.
Choice.
Decision, choice. I'm going to change my emails. I'm going to start putting, instead of waiting on a decision, I'm going to wait on a choice. It's like,
and
you don't want to work with me?
I think that sometimes before people do make that choice about things, especially if they think that there is nothing they can do about the mess that's going on in their life, not only do you write down the pros and cons, but call and talk to a friend. And if you don't have a friend, call. There are numbers that they put on television all the time where you can just call and say, look, I can't face tomorrow. This is how bad things are today. And there are people that will help you look at it differently because you always have a choice.
Yeah.
Always.
That's
suicide.
Heavy. Suicide hotline.
They just recently changed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know it off the top of my head 100%, so I'm not going to put out something that could be wrong, but you do always have a choice.
Yes.
Because as we discussed a couple episodes ago about that former student of yours that was trying to make that choice, and thankfully they didn't.
That's right.
You say you always have a choice, but that's
a bad decision.
That is always the wrong choice. Always the wrong choice.
Always, yes.
Just was wondering, between the two of you, how do you guys make your decisions, your choices? How do you make better choices? Because I know people.
This is simple. It's an easy question, but I'll finish. I got it.
I know people that are not good at this process, and they seem to always choose the wrong thing. So if
Ooh.
someone out there feels that
They're always choosing the wrong thing.
yeah,
Here's what I can do to help. I mentioned the game's categories, right? There's a little timer. You got 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Start with 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to make a choice. And you get better making choices, and you eventually move it to 2 minutes, and then you eventually go to 1 minute. You have 1 minute to make every choice.
I like it. Well, you know,
that would be two. That's some
Yeah.
of, but you know what? Some choices need more thought, but sometimes I feel like you could,
Yeah.
If you stick to a choice,
Yeah.
you gotta bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think people have been raised to not make choices.
Yeah.
You know, just think about
They
it.
wait for direction.
They always wait for direction. They wait. It's almost like being a ping pong ball and somebody has to hit you across the
Yeah.
net before you know what to do. So that's too bad. Parents need to really realize that their job is to make their children feel so good about themselves and the things that they can do that they have wings. They aren't going to need their parents. They're going to be able to leave and go out in the world and be happy, responsible citizens.
Yeah, they gotta be strong and confident.
And
Like
right.
Beyonce, something
right.
like that.
Well, and if there's somebody who's always not letting you make the choice, but always making it for you, that doesn't help you. So you're kind of stuck.
Yeah.
Until you have the experience, like place categories, and start to make decisions.
Yeah. And for the record, I don't do that with categories. That would be pretty funny to walk around with a timer and just like, well, let me, I'll get back to you. Just think about, push the button and think about it for a minute. Don't say anything.
you want SBK in your breakfast
People
sandwich?
would freak out. People would freak out. They go to interrupt you. Like, hold up, reset.
But you know, one more thing I just wanted to say: if there's somebody who is that you know, who's always making choices and they seem to be the wrong ones, there is nothing wrong with going to a counselor. You know, there was a time when people thought that if you went for counseling, you were crazy.
Yeah.
That's not true at all. You're looking for an independent person who's trained to listen because they don't know you and your family and your friends, and they're listening to what you say. And sometimes you don't realize what you're saying.
Yeah. Someone just to throw ideas off, throw whatever's on your mind. It's great.
Get a professional counselor and let things get better for you.
As someone that has talked to one before, I could say it definitely benefited myself.
Here's the thing. Like for me, when I used to, when I still do, I haven't seen her in a while.
That's your choice.
I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna go call her and just be like, hey, you know what? It's been a while. And every time I go there, it's just rip,
And who are you talking about?
My therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. And how nice that you feel. There's nothing wrong with having a therapist.
But here's the thing. I will never do it over the phone. I will never I can't justify doing a Skype or a phone call. Like something about just going there, sitting in a couch. She's got a nice room.
Right.
Have a drink with me. But it's like a nice experience. Just
yes.
Unwind.
Yeah. Or
let
people.
whatever flow.
And I think more people should.
We thought
do
about
it.
miking it up, turning it into a podcast, right? Imagine doing that podcast at your therapist.
Oh.
No one would listen.
What's the point of going to a therapist?
It
breaks
just
all
put
the point
everything
of it.
out in public. But everyone should. And if they need one, I'll do it for a discounted rate.
Excellent.
You'll do what for a discounted rate?
Oh, consult with them.
Oh yeah, you got the time. Do you guys have any? I'm trying to think for myself too. Any personal stories of difficult decision choices you've made? Choices you're really happy you made? Yeah, I'm happy I used to work for the National Park Service. I had a choice whether to go to college or not, and I did the whole college thing, and then you'd make a choice as to what career path to follow. I'm really happy with that.
I've had a few experiences when you have to pick between what restaurant you're going to, and it's like you never been there, and you go there, and the food's bomb, it's good, and it's like, oh, I made a good choice. That's a lot.
That's a satisfying.
It's a satisfying feeling. Yeah, I like the simple choice.
When you're picking restaurants, you look at the reviews.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes I'm too influenced by reviews.
Yeah,
I hit the most recent, and if there's 3 negative in the past 2 months.
So you go to the recent. You filter by recent because that's
no. If you go by relevant, it's 2 years old.
Yeah.
What good is that? Fran, any?
Well, I would not change anything in my life. It has all unfolded correctly for me.
Wow.
And it's been a long life and lots of turns and twists and moves and all of that, but they all worked out to be just right for me. And it makes me who I am.
Yeah. I worked with, real quick, you think about all these choices, decisions you make throughout life. And I worked with a guy who was older than me, but we got along really, really well. Bernie, if you're out there listening, I miss you. He always told me, he goes, the only things I regret are the things I chose not to do, that I didn't do. And that always stuck with me about why you gotta, I don't know, live life to the fullest. Don't push anything
but that's like every choice. Though. Every choice, it's like you made the choice to do something else instead of doing that. You know what I mean? There's times it's not. It's like, oh, go travel here or go stay here. But like whatever you got in your life, sometimes it's at that time it was the right choice. But then you look back. You look back at it. I think it's okay to look back. There's decisions I made. I'm like, what if I did something else? It's like, where would that have led me? But I don't like kick myself over it. But I like to, sometimes it's cool to like just think about everything. Like significant choices and decisions you made in your life, and just being like, oh, which one?
Have you made any bad ones?
Yeah. I'm human. What do you want? Definitely made a few.
A bad one that comes to mind right away is years ago. I think I was still in high school. Maybe it was senior year. I had to choose between going to a soccer game or going to Bamboozle, the concert that used to be at Giant Stadium parking lot. And I chose the soccer game, and the other team didn't even show up. So there wasn't even a game.
They were all at Bamboozle.
Maybe I never even thought of that, but I know people that went, and they just said it was like the most awesome time ever.
Yeah.
And that that hurt.
Have you never had another opportunity to hear Bamboozle?
That might have been the last year they had it.
Oh,
so it was a festival where like different bands played every year. They're supposed to bring it back. I mean, I've been to so many concerts and festivals since, and I've seen plenty of live music. So it's not like it was my only chance.
Right.
And the bands I wanted to see that day, I think I've seen most of them anyway since. But
yes,
I just know that it would have been fun than sitting at the field waiting for a team to show up that doesn't show up.
Making that choice taught you anytime that opportunity comes, I'm taking it. So you have to almost make bad choices to realize, be like, oh shit, I can't do that again.
Yeah. Experience is the best teacher.
Yeah. It really is.
Fran is the second best teacher.
Yeah. Experience can be a bitch at times. It can be hard.
Yeah.
Puts you through a lot.
Yeah.
I just had a conversation with a friend and kind of joking about fate or whatever. I was like, yeah, it can be fate, but I was like, it was kind of a bit traumatic. He goes, fate can be a bit traumatic at times. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that makes so much sense. I'm really glad he said that. I'm really glad I heard it. It really stuck with me. Either of you want to kind of talk about trust in your gut? Because that goes.
I love that. I mean, we went over that. I talked about trust in my gut. That's where the gut feel. Like, I don't know, because that kind of controls everything. Like that, like your gut gives you that feeling. It's like where you notice like something's wrong with me in my core, at my center of my being. It's like, what is going on?
I'm trying to remember. You answered this question episodes ago, whether you listen to your head or your gut more.
Gut.
Is that what you said then?
100%.
Gut.
That if that's gonna make me like, I don't know, like me.
Gotta go back and listen.
Yeah, make me feel like that kind of way. Yeah. Oh, the gut tells you everything.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think for me personally, I start, always trust the gut, but always run things through I sometimes too logistical thinking and just like, just being objective, just trying to figure out like, all right, this is how it is. But then I would say the gut can override the brain.
I always say the easier choice or decision you have to make, it's the one that requires less change. Like the one that's like, an easier transition. Like it's always like, oh, that one tends to like way better where you kind of currently are than making something so drastic. At least in bigger decisions, I guess.
Yeah. You got anything? I see you got some notes there. Anything that we haven't touched on yet?
No, but I read a book not long ago that's just come to mind. It was about everything that we do, every decision that we make, every choice. We're either coming from a point of fear or a point of love.
Whoa, fear or love? Okay,
Fear or love, and I've thought a lot about that. There are things that, and if you don't want to think that you're afraid of certain things, like whether or not you'll be a success at that, can you do it, whatever. But if you care about every situation, you're coming from, you care about these people, you want to help. You care about this new place this new environment that you'll be enjoying. Are you coming from love, from caring, or have you made the decision not to do this because it's for fear? So you need to ask. I think those are two things to think about when you're making choices.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, I guess would it be, where does fear stand? I mean, love is, they say, the heart.
Insecurity and fear. That's the
Okay.
same thing in a way.
Okay.
In a way. It's fear that you can't do it.
It's doubt in yourself.
fear
doubt.
of being exposed.
Or someone knowing something about you that you've been hiding. Right. It's that fear or love.
I'm insecure about playing baseball because I don't know if I bat lefty or righty.
Yeah, dude, this guy picks up a baseball bat at home. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're like, I don't know where to stand.
It's awful.
I've seen you pick up a baseball bat maybe once in my life when it was back in I don't even know.
Hockey, not a problem. That feels as natural as can be, but baseball, not so much. I'm trying to think, like the body systems.
Yeah.
I guess, you don't choose to be breathing, right? I guess you do, but your breathing pattern is just automatically happening. You can control it when you think about it.
It's adjusting to the situation. It's adjusting to how you're processing.
But if you you could choose to breathe really fast right now if you want to. So that's the only thing that maybe you don't have a choice until you think about it, and then you do. Just over here.
Well, your body's making decisions every time, without you thinking. All those little things, pistons and neurons firing around.
Answer this quickly. Are you your physical body, or are you only your mind?
Oh, I'm both.
Yeah,
I can't leave. I mean, I'm both. I mean, right now on my body until that thing wears away. Then all I got is the spirit, the brain, whatever it is, or whatever lives on after. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a new body. Who knows? Maybe there's a body shop I can go to. Build your own body. I don't know.
New
Put the spin
parts.
on the name.
New parts.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get moving on. I know we got some Fran Mail to get to. Just want to do a quick rapid fire. You guys just answer these. We're going to make some quick choices. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
All right.
Depends. Ice cream, it's vanilla, but chocolate's great. But vanilla, I'm saying vanilla.
Yeah.
The beach or the mountains?
Oh, I love both.
It's hard, but
Got to make a choice,
beach.
Fran.
Beach.
Okay. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Winter.
Don't look at Justin.
Winter. I have to look at. I've got to see what it's going
Should
to
we
do.
write them down? I feel like she's influencing me. This is not good.
This would be the time to do
This
it.
would be time.
Yeah.
East Coast or West Coast?
Oh, East Coast.
East Coast, baby.
Yeah.
East
I mean, we're on the
Coast.
East Coast, so.
But
Yeah.
I've lived out west, and don't get me wrong, I loved it, but I feel like now, every time the people change, just I don't know, it's the New Jersey, New York. There's a different style of people that I don't know, just
This is where,
This
where
is
things
home.
happen.
this is where you fit in the most.
This is home.
At this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your chance to be a chilled out surfer bro.
long gone.
Long gone.
I mean, I don't have that hair, but I got the mullet.
There you All right. Movies or television shows?
Movies.
Oh, movies.
So
Yeah.
you got one shot to do a good job. You mess that up, there's no other episode that can help you.
All right. Hamburgers or hot dogs?
Hamburgers.
Oh God. You know what? This is the one. Put a gun in my head. I'm not telling. I'm going out on that one.
Okay.
Love them both.
Burgers.
Wow.
Burgers.
Dogs. Regular dogs, the pet dogs, or cats?
Oh, see, I love both of them, but
I might pick
dogs.
cats. It's so much easier. Dogs are just so much work. Cats are just chill. But I love them both. But cats.
I love them both.
All right. Fran, the last one's for you. Kevin or Justin?
Oh.
Answer that off air.
Yeah.
I've known Justin longer.
Kevin.
She's saying my name. Looking at me, pointing to
That's
you.
her trying to.
Yeah,
That's
so
her
you
trying
know
to
me?
pick both.
Yeah.
She's looking at you and saying my
Yeah.
name.
So think about that.
Yeah.
No, but Kevin, I've known you longer. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Wink, wink,
Yeah.
nod, nod.
yeah, I know,
It's
Justin.
there's no favorite. We're, just,
Yeah.
I know.
we're one unit together.
That
Yeah.
was a joke.
Right.
I once asked
Yeah.
a friend's kid if he preferred my sister, Aunt Kelly, or me, Uncle Kevin,
Uh-huh.
and I think he said Uncle Kelly. I was like, that was political. I was like, that was a good way of splitting the middle.
Damn, these kids.
Oh yeah.
So
Some things are just better in twos.
yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So Fran Mail, let's hop into it. Also, for anyone listening out there, if you got any ways that you make decisions, choices you've made,
Right.
write into us. Let us know. We'll,
Yeah, if you want,
we'll talk about it.
I like that. We'll keep it
Yeah, and
confidential, or we'll blast your name out.
Yeah.
Send your social security number too. We'll throw that out in the
Yeah.
world.
Any thoughts on the episode? Don't hesitate. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, people have been really liking it. They're sharing it, and
Good.
we always want to shout out our
Good.
listeners and
Yes.
all that good stuff.
Yes.
A hard time they faced, or something fun, whatever they want to send
Right.
a story.
Right.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
want to get, you want to just write something and send it in. You could do that. Feel free.
If you were at Bamboozle the year I didn't go, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. No, just kidding. All right. So this is some Fran Mail. This writer is soon going to be a TA for a college down in Kentucky.
Ooh.
They're a bit nervous leading a classroom, lecturing, and being seen as a source of knowledge and authority. I think that's important because telling your friends something you know is one thing, but to be seen as the knowledge, the authority in the room, that's probably one of the biggest dynamics in the classroom. Friend, you can. So he actually starts with a bit for Justin. So what sort of mindset do you have to have in a leadership position when you have several underlings who range from interested to apathetic? I'd like to hear from Justin about his mindset and resilience as a manager. How does he pull himself out when things go wrong or the priorities need to shift?
Well, for the record, I'm no longer a manager. I took that road for it was 9 months. It was enough to have a baby, and the product of that was I need to get out of that position. It's tiresome, but I think depending on the industry, it could be good. You definitely want to spend time equally amongst the people who work.
It's going to
under
be
you?
students. It's going to be students.
Students.
Don't-
Okay. Oh, students. Oh, yeah, my
it's
bad.
gonna be
Okay,
a TA.
that was that. All right. So you want to be a source where I think a sense of humor actually does go a long way, but you
He's
don't
a
want to
funny
be
guy.
you don't want to be too friendly, because then it becomes a point where if they look at you in an authoritative position, it's like, well, he's been too friendly. So you have to kind of establish a grounds of an overall presence of the room. That's your room. That is you own that. Every corner, every square foot of that room, that is yours. That's your space. That's where you're in charge. You're teaching the kids. So make it as you want. Walk the room. Show establish. I think it's establish yourself. Your style of teaching or managing. That varies, but it's very much in the trust in you, and you have to trust yourself.
I like that.
I think that's kind of
That's really
yeah.
good.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Fran, I don't know if you want to add to that, or I can get to the question part he has for you.
Well, what I would add is that if you know your subject, that's the important thing. You must be prepared, and you need to have a real passion about it. You need, from the very beginning, to let the class know why it is important that they learn it. How is it going to affect their life and the other years in college? How will they use it? And otherwise, everything you said, I agree.
Yeah. So that's great advice. Being passionate about what you're teaching is
Being passionate.
Yeah.
Yes.
so important. Do you have any advice? I guess he's worried that he may be anxious as a first time teacher.
Don't show too much emotion. You can't show. You can't. Like if you're having a bad day, you kind of have to eat it. You kind of have to put on a face too. Because that's going to dictate the feeling of the room.
Mhm.
So they can hear it in your voice. Something's all this and that. So like it is important to, also take time for yourself too, because you're putting out so much time for everyone else. Still take that time for yourself to, get mentally prepared before the class. If you have a break, utilize it, whatever you find, that helps pass the time and gets your head elsewhere.
Remember what will calm you, and that is oxygen. You need to take some deep, slow breaths. And I used to do that before I would go into school. I would drive to the park, and then I would spend a few minutes just getting myself centered, thinking about the day, but breathing very slowly. And then whatever happens, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because I was very passionate about learning something new every day. And I always told my students that this was going to be their favorite class. And so I did my best to make it their favorite class.
It's big talk. You got to back
a lot
it
of
up.
confidence in that. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. I mean,
that's it.
You knew you were going to make it the best class. So that's you putting so much effort into that the purpose of that.
Yep.
Just some notes I would add is do your best to read the room and see what type of class you have.
I can tell you a little bit about reading a room.
Yeah. And, if you find that they respond really well to humor, make sure, you utilize that tool. I think it's even important because, when I was in college and had TAs, I think showing that like you're an equal at times, don't go on a power trip, I guess is like it's your room, but you're not. You want them to respect you. You want the respect from them. Yeah, you're not a dictator. Like earn their respect. Don't force their respect. I guess, and then
incentivize too. Like I don't know, give them like bonus,
and then just like the other things I have here is just be human and show some humility when necessary. Because if you go in there and they can tell you're faking it or a phony, you're working with young adults. They're going to pick up on that. Yes. You can maybe go into a classroom with third graders and put on a fake smile and hi kids and do all that. Adults are going to be able to pick up on that. So I know this individual who wrote in, I believe they're going to be a great teacher because when I would spend time with them, I was always learning things from them about the topic they're going to be teaching. And I think, like you said, Fran, like you're passionate about this. You're there because this is something you care a lot about and you have the information that these kids are now trying to get. So know that, breathe, and share it.
Perfect.
So yeah, good luck. If that doesn't work, don't call us. No, just kidding.
I don't know. It's a good feel. Like especially when you jump into it too, like you're going to have your nerves and stuff. But once you get into a flow, a rhythm where it's kind of effortless, it becomes natural. And I mean, I always like it from a stand-up, from stand-up comedy, like being on stage. Like now that's just like, it's just such a good feel. It's just, I'm where I want to be. I'm like where like I'm meant to be right now.
I think it's so important to not fake it. Like you got to be prepared for sure. Justin, do you remember like the first time you led like a meeting or had to teach or like you put together a presentation and had to go in and then?
Oh, that was back at that was back when Blue Moon days at the production studio.
And do you remember?
I remember. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff where I pitch it. I'm trying to get buy-in from people, and it was all on me. And there was times I'd go in there super prepared where it's like, all right, here's the information I want to communicate with them. Here's how I get from point A to point Z. What are questions they're going to have as I go through the steps? What are questions that are common questions that come up? Do I know the answer off the top of my head? Good. You just have to, that's where you know your stuff. And if there is something, if there's one step of the thing where you're not sure, it's like, okay, I'm not sure, but I can get you an answer on it. Whatever, I'll call
that right there.
Yeah. I let them. Yeah, if I don't know for sure, I'll tell them what they're, whatever it is, and if there's a certain thing that comes up, I'm like, I think it's this, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll get back to you on that. Let's keep moving. It's not something that's going to throw a hitch in the whole thing. We're like, oh, we're not listening to you anymore. It's just one little step. There's obviously a lot of information to digest, and it's like I don't want there's some information you don't need to digest. Like, yeah, it's helpful, but like, you might not need to include it because it's it becomes cumbersome. Where it's just like, all right, get to the good stuff, get to the major points.
Yeah.
So that's also knowing your room, where who you're presenting to, how much time you have. Because some of the people I get, you get them for 20 minutes locked in, and that's it. Their phone, they're blowing, their phone's blowing up all the time. So it's knowing the people, and when you have to kind of rush through things and how to prepare for it is key.
Fran, what is the oldest grade that you taught? Was it 6th?
No, 8th grade.
You taught 8th grade?
Yes.
If you could just share with everyone what it was like teaching 6th or 8th graders, and then do you remember your first class? Maybe I've asked that before.
Well, my first class they were 6-year-olds. My first grade was my first experience with the little ones. And I knew after the first year that I did not want to stay there because it was teaching sounds, letters, easy mathematics. It wasn't ideas.
Yeah, I like that.
And they didn't get jokes,
Sarcasm, they learn it at a young age, but there's certain time. Yeah, I get it. That is funny.
And they were adorable. And I had a wonderful year, but I knew I did not want to stay in first grade. So I was very lucky because we moved to New Orleans. And then I was able to teach in the country day schools, and I was teaching in middle school years. I taught 6, 7, and 8. And it was marvelous. And I knew that was where I wanted to be. 8th graders are already starting to have hormone issues. And they are very interested in who they sit near, but 6th graders are not. 6th graders are still like, there's no ceiling on their thinking. They're creative. They don't think that everything's already been discovered and everything is known. They are so open, and they have their tools. They can read, they can research. We can talk about things. I love 11, 12. That's my favorite.
If there's any teachers out there that have recently taught middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade that find that this is accurate or has changed, I would be really interested to know that, because I think with the advent of cell phones and kids having it at that early an age, you grow up quicker probably, and just maybe cultural changes. I'd be curious to know what's the same as it was when you left teaching, and what has changed. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
I think there's always that threshold, though. It's when the kids show up to class, like there's a point where it's like they're just listening and doing. You know what I mean? They're there, and it's just, here's how you're learning words and like writing, right? So it's like very much like follow these steps, right? But then you get to that point where it's like they know all the steps, right? They know the language, they know how to write, they know how to read and write. Now it's like about actually using your words and your knowledge to figure things out. That's when questions are more, probably, they stumble on questions more often than not.
And creativity comes into play. That's wonderful. Yeah. I just absolutely loved what I was able to do. I loved school.
Yeah, I could tell just looking at you.
You're all giddy.
Yeah. Right, we've already talked about teaching for 2 episodes. Right. Well, let's get some updates from some teachers out in the world, that we can dive back into that topic. Well,
what next? More Fran Mail?
That was all I had for today for the Fran Mail. So I think I'm choosing the cabinet here. Do you guys have anything that you'd like to add on the topics, things discussed? Justin, you want to talk more? Surprise.
I can just ramble on about whatever.
Start your own podcast for that. All right. This is a choice for the listeners out there. Should Justin start his own podcast where he just talks and talks?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not just me, just talk. You know what? I used to like the Instagram.
I bet if 5 people told you to do it, you would do it.
I'd probably do it. Yeah, I'd probably do one episode. It'd be ridiculous.
I would listen.
Oh God, no, that's one. I need 4 more people.
I would tune in as well.
You got 2.
Down to 3. Down to 3. Yeah, maybe I would do. You know what? Maybe what I would do is because I used to love those videos I did on Instagram where it was verse. I would do a poll and I would take that information and then I would just rip it apart. I haven't done that in a long time. And I used to write down all different topics.
All those choices people made.
All those yeah. But I got so much other stuff going on that I'm having fun doing.
All right. Well,
figure it out.
I'm thinking we should wrap it up and
Yeah.
let the weekend begin.
Let everyone look at the
Yeah.
moon tonight.
Yeah, sturgeon full moon.
Mhm.
By the time they
Sturgeon.
listen, the sturgeon moon.
Send
Fish.
moon messages. I love to do that.
I don't. Have we just tell people what moon messages are? I don't know if we've discussed it or not, but tell them
No.
again.
Well, I always tell people that I really love that don't live around here, people that are in other towns, other states, other places in the world. I have friends in the UK, and I always tell them, look at the moon at 8:00. And I will go out and look at the moon at 8:00, and I'm just sending them love. And I'm hoping they're looking, because it's the same moon for all of us.
Yeah, because you can't tell too many people about that. Because when you're out there, you have to think of, okay, I got Johnny, Tony,
And then if they're in
I don't know
different
why they're
time
all-
zones,
Yeah, well, Sopranos just name.
well, that and
Yeah.
there's actually the movie Joe Dirt. They do the same thing in that.
They do.
But yeah, moon messages, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
the moon is a powerful force.
It's big.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it's rock. It's floating. I got 3 for 3 right now. I'm going to keep going. All right,
folks. I think we're going to wrap it up. Just reminder: do what you can to be a member of the Army of Good.
Oh, yes.
Help others. Help yourself. You know,
Mhm. Something good every day.
Yeah, and if not, you're just part of the problem. That's it.
self-awareness is important.
All right.
And,
Until next time.
and yeah, to reach out to us, to find us. So on Instagram, that's definitely a big one. That's where we got a bunch of messages. So that's the Tea with Fran podcast. Be sure to look us up there. Also on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, start commenting. Make an account and comment down
Down in the
wherever it
section.
is.
Boom, 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 boom. I want me to flash up
So-
comment.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
YouTube, Tea with Fran podcast as well. And then, of course, the email is teawithfranmail.
Got to be a fanatic.
Got to be fanatic at gmail.com. Someone sent an email and said, is this the email? It was something like that. I was like, yes, this is the email for the Tea with Fran podcast. If you have anything you want to ask, tell us. This is where you do it. And then they didn't respond to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought that, that's
I'm
just a funny joke. I think it's just, obviously, you're writing in, send an email.
I don't know. I guess, let me.
You took the time to write an email and not even ask the question. That's just, now you're adding an extra letter for no reason.
Maybe
they're wasting their time. Is what they just ask the question.
it was, hey, I was wondering if my email got to your inbox.
Oh, maybe they sent another email to them. You missed. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, I
Check your
hope
spam.
not.
All right. Run this stuff a little better, Kevin. Track them down. Go to their house. Figure it out. Answer their questions.
We all make choices, and I choose to be here. Take care, everyone.
Good night.
Until next time.